Okay, it's happening. We're going. Woo! Hey, everyone. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. It's Friday, daytime, and woohoo! So, here we go. Right off the bat, Carl Icahn's Icahn IEP, Icahn, some other investment, blah, blah, blah. They had bad earnings. They lost a bunch of money, like 72 cents a share. They're expected to have 25 cents a share profit, so they missed by $1. And they announced that they're cutting the dividend from $2 a share down to $1, and their price went. So, were the shorts right? Or do they have something planned? I don't know. Seems strange when he was all like, we're gonna get them, and didn't get them. Then again, he did sell off a lot of his own stock to get a whole bunch of cash on hand. He has like billions on hand to do something with. The drop in price and the cut in dividend made the bond prices go up, as paying bonds would be taken as a premium over dividends for shareholders. So, I don't know, you guys have any theories? Is this a long game? Is this just a short blip? Is it something to come? Is it the result of a softening market in general? Because the economy is about to take a dump and companies like IEP own a lot of commercial real estate? I guess we're going to find out. What else happened? They hid the 1728 from the docket. They sealed it because it had private information in there, but I have a copy downloaded on my computer, so there you go. Didn't do a great job of sealing that thing. And I don't know. Finger did well this morning. Didn't do very well later. I haven't checked it in the last little bit. Oh, it crashed hard this Friday. Not very hard, down to $5.30. Still up overall. GME had a blip, then came back down. So, but the blip wasn't that much. And everyone else kind of holding steady. A lot of holding steadies going on. Holding steady, holding steady, holding steady, holding steady. I don't know. It seems like everyone's just kind of in limbo. They're all limboing right now. So, limbo with me. Amon. Okay, off. Nighttime off. Other nighttime off. All the nighttime's off. Everything's off. We're off. Okay, so what's on your minds? There was a super chat here somewhere. Or was it? Come on, scroll. You can. Why won't you scroll? Oh, okay. From Bill Coyne, the day you don't check the price of GME, think or text about GME is the day it goes up. That's true for everything. A watch pot never boils. So, keep that in mind. Okay, tech piece first. He's here. Tom Zerlaka saw a man with 12 fingers yesterday. Got me thinking, if his 12-fingered genes are the dominant gene, how long before humans would have 6-finger gloves be the new normal? Well, you have to assume that he produces at a reproductive rate, say two kids. They're 2 kids, you have 2 kids, right? So we're going to do powers of 2. So let's see how long it would take for Tom's 12-fingered man to I want you go there. Come on. You go there. What's on? You're off. There we go. Okay. So we're going to do powers of 2. So that's 2 times 2. That's right there. He and his wife, 1 generation. Okay. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43. So 43 generations, theoretically, if everyone had 2 children, no one died before they could procreate, and it would take 40, what did I just say, 42 generations to get to 8 billion and change. So that would be the entire population of the globe as it is today. So not too shabby. Not too shabby indeed. So isn't it weird to think about that, like if everybody had 2 kids and no one died, that it would only be like 42 generations ago? Which generation per 20 years... that could be in 840 years. We could theoretically go from Adam and Eve to 8.7 billion people, provided everyone doesn't die at childbirth and so on. So there you go. There's your answer. That's how long it would take if you do everything perfect. Boss, I can count on one hand how many times I've visited Chernobyl. It's 12. Yeah. All right, that was a good joke. That one, I like that one. Casey Chapman, I'm getting bored waiting for MOASP and learning how to trade SPY options. There you go, something to do. Philip Clayton, hey Houston, happy birthday. You talked about the superconductor on a couple of shows now. What implications does this have for manufacturers like GMG? If I were a solid state battery company, I would, the collar's messed up here. I would definitely be jumping on board manufacturing LK99, because if you have these solid state batteries not coupled with the supercapacitors, then whoever does is going to pass you by and you're going to be toast. So I would think that every nanotech, every electronics company, every hardware company, every computer company, every battery manufacturer, all of them have labs right now running the stuff, because they know if it's cheap, right? You can do a couple of tests probably for a few $1,000s. Got a couple of scientists already on salary. They can just spend a couple of days doing that, see if it works. And if that works, then you're like, okay, we can scale this thing. We'll make something a little bit bigger. Hey, fat cat, welcome to the party. It could mean like trillions of dollars in revenue someday. So I'm not sure in the exact ways you'd incorporate it, because the battery itself, like a aluminum ion battery, are these sheets of graphene that have aluminum impurities in them, and it causes ions to flow around in there, electrons to flow around. That's basically how the battery works. But you can theoretically charge a superconductor with energy, not touch it, and it will hold that energy for like 100,000 years without giving it up. So I don't know what you would do. Would you make casings out of the stuff, wirings, attach them to the coils of motors to make the use of electricity much more efficient? I really don't know. And is my video feed dying already? What the heck, man? It's middle afternoon. Arrgh. Doing a show. Okay. Let them know. Sorry if I'm freezing and turning into a max headroom. Phil Clayton, boss. I use my tails to count how many times I've been to Chernobyl. Chris Taylor, Houston. I couldn't believe how cheap IEP was this morning. I jumped all over that tasty dip and averaged down to 25. I'll do it again. Hope it pays off. How's the elbow feeling today? Oh, the elbow is still killing me. The one thing I discovered is so I shouldn't pick things up with my hand like this. I could pick them up with my hand like this, but like this puts strain on the muscle here that pulls on that tendon, and it hurts like hell. The problem is when you pick up a glass, your hand is that way. So I cannot pick up a glass of water with my left hand. I must do it with my right hand because this is bad, this is good. Bad, good. Bad, good. I made all night yesterday, not messing it up. Then right at the end of the evening, pick something up like this. Probably like the dish rack is to my left at home, so I'm doing dishes, put dishes in the dish rack. I go take things out of the dish rack. My left hand naturally wants to be the thing that picks the thing out of the dish rack, and I can't do that because it hurts like hell. So, tennis elbow from destroying blackberries. Welcome to getting old. Where your doctor says you can't weed anymore. So no weed in my life. Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. Why was there never a pregnant Barbie? Ken came in a different box. Oh, God damn it. First name, last name. Houston. Ever get those religious fake $20 bill pamphlet as a tip? I always hate those motherfuckers when they do that. I have not, but one of my coworkers did, and she caught it in time. She ran out and threw it at him. Crumpled up and just threw it at him. But you guys don't know what I'm talking about? You like the little booklet that's closed. It's got the check in there, and there'll be like a little $20 bill peeking out, and like, oh sweet, left me a 20. Open it up, and it's like, find Jesus. It's not an actual $20 bill. It's just a note telling them they should go to church or something. What a great way to win people to your religion, huh? Hey, join us. We're cheapskates and we're assholes. Yeah. Andrew Stewart. Houston. How do we as apes prevent our future generations from becoming the people we're actively fighting against now, especially long after we're dead? I think it's going to be pretty easy, namely because future generations are going to be so destitute that, aside from like the few psychopaths that are going to become like warlords or something, everyone else is just going to be so poor and malnourished, they're not going to be able to do anything. So, yeah. I mean, the easiest way to prevent people from becoming rich assholes is to make them so poor that none of them can get rich asshole stuff. First name, last name, Houston. If you go caving. I can't read. I can't read it with public school. Houston, if you go caving, never forget the Nutty Putty incident. Oof, that gives me the claustrophobic creeps. I hate stuff like that. The Nutty Putty incident. Is that the one in Utah where the kid is like permanently wedged in a rock and they just kind of put a memorial up because he's like 1,000 feet down? I'm gonna look that one up. Nutty Putty. Let's check this out. Where's my Bing? What the heck, Chrome? You were working before, you jerk. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So, Nutty Putty incident. This article describes Nutty Putty cave incident with 26-year-old caver named John Jones tragically lost his life in 2009. His death is a sobering reminder how dangerous caving can be and why we should follow safe cave practices at all times when spelunking. Yep, the one in Utah. Yeah. So you got like wedged down really far. So this is like the top and then the bottom. So it goes down hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of feet. Depth of 1,355 and 145 feet. I don't know what that even means. So John Jones is, dude, quit. Just go away. All of you, go away. John Jones has plenty of caving experience, but not recently. Most of his spelunking was done when he was a kid. John's father frequently took him and his younger brother Josh cave trips all over Utah. Josh wasn't his only brother. John Edwards Jones, born to big family, 5 boys, blah, 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 blah. John was studying to be a cardiologist. Okay. Okay, so he got wedged in there. Yeah. So which made him unable to turn back on his own. Okay. Oh, ugh. Okay, so everything was smooth for an hour or so. The party had explored the largest room in the cave, aptly named Big Slide. Soon, John, Josh, and two other friends decided to take up a challenge they had heard about, namely passing through the birth canal, a narrow and challenging passageway that eventually opens up into a larger room. John went first. He wriggled forward for some time, but did not see any larger area. He continued to inch forward, but the narrow passage did not come to an end. Instead, the squeeze made a sharp downward turn. Confidently, John pressed forward, perhaps noticing the tunnel got wider at the bottom, but it was already too late. It all went wrong 50 feet earlier. It's unclear from the conflicting sources on the internet whether John entered the birth canal and accidentally turned and wriggled into the Scout Eater, or if he had missed the birth canal entirely and crawled into another passageway just next to the birth canal, called Ed's Push. Now, Ed's Push does not lead to a larger room. It does not lead anywhere, at least nowhere a 6 foot, 200-pound man can fit. Ed's Push has four uncharted passageways at its end, but they're all too small for a human. If he instead pushed into Scout Eater, it similarly has a small passageway that doesn't lead anywhere. In any case, John kept pushing through until he couldn't continue. On top of things, he had wriggled onto a fissure that went nearly straight down, which made him unable to turn back on his own. The narrow crevice he was trapped in measured 10 by 18 inches. Okay. That size compared to the opening of a front-loading washing machine, except it wasn't a perfect circle. He was stuck in the tightest part of the opening, trapped more than 100 feet below ground and deep inside the cave. All John could do was wait and pray. The long wait. His brother Josh, who was following him, was the first one to find John. Anxious of how much the rock had swallowed John, Josh tried to pull him up, but only managed to inch him up a little. As soon as he let John go, he slid right back into the crevice. John was stuck with one hand pinned underneath him and the other forced backwards. So, His ankles and feet were free, but were of little use as gravity pushed him down. They both said a quick prayer, and Josh hurried back to the ground as fast as he could, slowly wriggling out of the tight passage and rushing to the surface. Once inside, he quickly called for help while all their friends stayed with John. The first person to arrive to help, Susan, was a local rescue volunteer who immediately dropped everything she was doing when she received the message on her rescue pager and rushed to the scene with a Toyota. She arrived sometime around midnight. It was now more than 3 hours since John had been trapped deep inside the cave. Small, agile, and quick, Susan took no time to reach John. "Hi, John. My name is Susie. How's it going?" "Hi, Susie. Thanks for coming," John said, "but I really want to get out." Well, the next few hours, tens and tens of rescuers arrived. Rescue team quickly brainstormed plan after plan. They discussed everything, even lubing the walls of the cave. They decided to use a rescue rope that passes through a series of climbing cams with one end and a rope tied around John's legs, the other, and pulled by the team. At the same time, they also tried drilling away chunks of rock near John, but the hard material and awkward position made drilling slow and painful work. In over an hour, they only managed to drill a couple of inches of rock. The position of John's body also complicated things. He was trapped nearly upside down. Only his feet were visible to the rescuers, and the ceiling above the feet hanging so low rescuers couldn't pull him out as his feet would get in the way. Time passed as rescuers worked frantically and failed with their first system of climbing cams, and they tried to use a rope pulley system, anchoring the pulleys with bolts, drilling bolts deep into the cave walls. Jeez, my knees. Look at this guy trying to drill in there. Save this dude. Fuck. Everything was made more difficult by how narrow the cave was, even though there was a large team of rescuers, volunteers, emergency services, and rescue helicopter outside. Only one person could directly access John. Meanwhile, John was doing worse. He had now been stuck upside down for a long time, having some difficulty breathing, and his heart had to work twice as hard against gravity to push the continuous blood flow out of his brain. He was swinging back and forth between panic and calmness. At one point, they brought a two-way cable radio into the cave and managed to lower it to him so he could speak with with his wife, who was near the cave entrance surface. Ugh. And they're both agitated but comforted each other. John had now been trapped upside down for 19 hours. Jeez, man. So this is what he was in. So like they couldn't pull him out. Jesus Christ. Oh, things start to look better. Everything changed when rescuers finally finished installing the pulley system and started pulling John out. They worked in an 8-man tandem, all tugging as one. John was at times in great pain, so they made frequent pauses, but each time they pulled, they managed to pull John up a little bit more. After pulling upwards the third time, John was finally lifted high enough so that he could make eye contact with the rescuer closest to him. He looked tired, his eyes red, his face was dirty, but he seemed fine otherwise. "How are you?" "It sucks. I'm upside down. Can't believe I'm upside down. My legs are killing me." Rescuer saw that even though John was complaining, he had a smile on his face. They had another rest and decided to continue pulling John up. He was almost out. Disaster strikes. Ooh. When the rescue team pulled John upwards for the fourth time, something happened. The entire team fell backwards as the rope suddenly went loose in their hands. The closest rescuer felt something hard hit his face, and he passed out for a second. When he came to, he saw nothing but dust. Once the dust settled, he realized the stone arch near John's legs where the rope had tied around had shattered, and the nearest keybolt had broken off. He couldn't make out the dust exactly where John was, but soon realized John had slid right back down the crevice, and this time even deeper than before. Oh, yeah. The rescuer suffered severe facial injuries from the impact of the metal carabiner and couldn't continue his rescue efforts. He had to switch places with his dad, who was also on the rescue team. When he reached John, he realized that John's breathing was much more shallow and less frequent and was struggling to stay alive. Oh, man. The medical professional crawled down there. At midnight, John was pronounced dead. Man, 137 rescuers worked for 27 hours to save him. And I think they left him down there, as I heard. Yep. Yeah. They sealed the cave, and he's down there. Woof. No, thank you. I don't want that. Yeah, I don't go splunking. I'll go into old mines because I know those were built for humans with hard hats and all that works. I'm sure a hard hat's going to save me if a whole wall caves in, but you know, the lone rock bouncing off my helmet, I can do that. But yeah, I don't spelunk. I don't. Yee. No, thank you. Christopher Stedman, how's it, Houston? It goes, brah. Christopher Stedman, happy Aloha Friday from Waikiki Beach. What's your hunch as to when BBYQ will pop? Mahalo. Well, brah. I'm thinking probably September, if not November. Because remember, they actually extend until November to deal with the leases. They might be able to emerge, have a separate entity deal with the leases, and then have the new company come out with shareholders before then. But there's some big hearing on September 10th or September 11th. To deal with all that stuff. So we got at least a month of twiddling our thumbs until we hear other big news. So, guess we chill, baby. Scott Pollen, still in Ibiza, having a great time. It's like super late night for you now, Scott Pollen, Ibiza. Scott Pollen, when Jimmy prophecy fulfilled, we all party on the islands together. Mm-hmm. Fine with Jimmy Solo. Might need to check my tits. First name, last name. If more companies would make filings identifying naked short selling corruption, we might have a chance having MOAS happen. But I don't know, man. We got to be vocal and persistent. Everyone must be vocal and persistent. See what being annoying has managed to do as far as elected officials are concerned? That we have 16 now elected representatives all asking the SEC to like, hey, man, tell us what's going on. Fix this. It's something weird. You shouldn't allow things like this to happen. And it's all because we're annoying. We are so annoying. And these CEOs of heavily short companies are like, oh my gosh, being annoying works. Let's be annoying. And they get legal representation and they start like writing letters and filing lawsuits and cease and desists and all sorts of things are happening. And all of it can be solved. Every single one of these things can be solved if the SEC just banned naked short selling in its entirety. That's all you have to do. You say, sell short naked, we take your broker license and charge you $1 kajillion. That seems to be the simplest solution you could possibly ever have. And as long, like, it might get to the point where short sellers lose so much money that they beg the SEC to make short selling legal. So they aren't tempted by it anymore. So, right? Like, as long as they're losing cash because we're being annoying, they're not going to object when the SEC says, you know what, you can't naked short sell anymore. And they'll be like, all right, fine. We'll figure out some other way to make our money. So, yeah, vocal and persistent. Joshua Pels, I've done the DRS with NextBridge. Congratulations. Scott Paul in Houston. Hiked out to Far de su Punta Grossa today. Gnarly trail, very dangerous. Well, let's see where it is. To Far de sa Punta. Copy. seen. Google Earth. Ah, wrong screen. Come on, Google Earth. Get in the right screen. There we go. Okay. Far said the Punta Grossa. Way out there. Way out there. Way out there. It's a big old ridge line you got. So, doesn't look like it's too far from like civilization. But you got one heck of a casa here. Got a little boat trailer. How high up are you? 257 feet. And then hike down here to, looks like there's foundations like of an old something here. Fort? House fort? Looks like a fun side to go jump off into the water. This side, a little bit gnarlier. Little sea cave forming there. Fartesa Punta Grossa. There's that trail looked like it was a road at one time. It's washed out in a couple of places. So it must have had stuff driving down here. It looks like a parking lot. Cool. Cool place to be. Make it there someday. Travel the world. See things. First name, last name. It seems like the whole system is on it. Like George Carlin said, it's a special club. You ain't in it. It is. And every once in a while, someone enters that club and goes, oh, this is what it's like. Josh Pepels, Tennessee. A couple of guys in San Marcos, Texas went into Jacob's Well, and deep down inside, they got turned around, and when they stirred up some silt, got stuck. They never made it out. Yeah, Jacob's Well is another one of those gnarly places. There's a similar fountain in France, in this little town in France, that no one knows where the source is from. And one diver's gotten permission by the town to go into the well and see where it comes from, because it just flows. An insane amount of water comes out of there. What is the name of that one? Well, French town unexplored. Let's see if we can find it. What do we call it? Spring? Maybe Spring. Can't remember the name of it. Oh, man, my internet is like awful. Jeez, my knees. Not Paris. No. Maybe we'll try Spring. Can't remember the name of that thing. Looks really good. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, the Fosse Dion. This is the one. Oops, gotta turn off the Google Earth. So this guy here. There's an amphitheater that's built to it. And there's all these like ancient pagan stories about the spring and stuff. And it's got a huge limestone cave system. Just gigantic. And so there's one diver who's had permission over the years to map the cave system. And he can only make it so far before, it gets too dangerous. But he's gone hundreds and hundreds of feet. It goes down, I think, 280 feet to the bottom. Yeah, but there's evidence that like Cro-Magnons were using this spring, and this was set up. This amphitheater was set up so people in the town could wash their clothes in the spring, and so like everything in here was all set up for like washing and drying clothes in the medieval times. But yeah, the Fosse Dion, pretty cool. It's a neat little amphitheater they built in this town, and then like the whole river just flows from this spring. Another place to go visit. Looks like a cute little town, right? I dig it. Fresh, cool, clear water. First name, last name. Josh, did you see that on the Scary Interesting channel? I love that channel. Josh Pels, actually, that was something that came out when I was living in Texas. I knew friends of the divers. Yeah. I like adventure. I don't know if like death-defying adventure, like adventure specifically to try and cheat death, is really what I'm into, though. Just doesn't seem like my thing. I totally get people that it's their thing and they get the ultimate adrenaline rush. But I will let them do the exploration in that case. Talking about channel. G-Phone, FYI, Quest Trade in Canada won't allow you to withdraw your Nextbridge shares. Curious. Because there was another one in Canada that was allowing people to register. Was it RBC Bank? Their trading platform? Can't remember. But there was someone that on here that was able to register their Nextbridge. And they were Canadian. Bill coined the story back in the 1800s. A woman started talking. You can still hear it today. First name, last name, Houston. What are some creepy stories you find fascinating? Creepy stories I find fascinating. Oh, man. Of course, when someone asks something like that, nothing immediately comes to mind at all. My brain just goes, boom. It's like dead. Creepy stories I found fascinating. Cat, help me out here. Creepy stories I found fascinating. Creepy story. I can't think of a single thing on top of my head. There's like literally, I'm just drawing a giant blank. I know there's probably creepy stories I find fascinating, but like nothing is coming to my mind right now. Dude, help me out here. Help me out here, man. Don't lick my fingers. My fingers aren't for licking. Creepy stories I find fascinating. Creepy stories I find fascinating. Creepy stories I find fascinating. If something triggers my, I'm so blank right now. I'm useless. I am absolutely useless. First name, last name. Something will come to my head immediately after turning off the show. Be like, there's one. The Belgian whale. Hey H, it seems the whole BBYQ doc about the short sellers holding bond, whatever, was not from the lawyers, but from an investor. Yes, it was from an investor. But lawyers wrote it, apparently. So, they raise good points, though. They show that the bondholders are shorting the stock, and by shorting the stock, made them not want to convert their bonds into shares because they lose money on their short position, and that's what caused the bankruptcy. And if that's what caused the bankruptcy, then they should get dip doodle until they close their short positions. So, pretty solid argument as far as I'm concerned. First name, last name, Houston. When you did you DRS your Sears shares? I did a long time ago. I was just curious. You did too. Would make a difference. I did not. My guess is DRSing my Sears shares would cost more than I paid for my Sears shares. So I didn't bother. Kelly Reed. Jay Powell met with Rich Tang, Rocco's capital management, end of March. Rocco's hedge fund decided to de-risk following double-digit losses. Why the meeting? Hedge funds getting ready to blow up? I don't know. I mean, I assume these dudes meet with rich guys all the time. It could be anything for, hey, we're about to blow up, to, hey, I think this would be a good idea, to, hey, we're having lunch together because we both went to business school at the same time. I'd take your choice there. Don Caesar Shadem, can't wait to jump in when I get home. Woo! First name, last name, Houston. Having guests coming over soon. We'll watch tomorrow. Have a great show. You have a great time with your guests. Rick, did he say he would get them, though? I don't know what that refers to, Rick. Oh, there's a reset of the chat, of course. And... Belgian whale, bought 10 IEP this week. It's your fault. That's what happens. That's what happens. You're cursed. Just repels. Oh, that didn't happen. Okay. You guys are having like conversation with each other in chat, and then I gotta like skip over, and then I don't know which one to skip over. Aaron Saltine, what happened to IEP stock? They had huge losses, cut the dividend in half, stock price went. That's what happened. Rick, I think this was just still, and again, a result of Hindenburg. Oh, talking about IEP. Well, I mean, them missing earnings by $1 is not Hindenburg. That's institutional. That is a result of buying, spending, who knows, loss of value of assets. That's something. Missing those earnings by $1. It's supposed to be 25 cents a share profit, and they lost 70 something cents. 76 cents, something like that. Ron Johnson, happy birthday, Houston. There's some hardcore Torch OGs who say anyone who bought MMTLP can't get shares registered with AST. Did your shares make it through? I have OG Torch and MMTLPs. I got both also. But the hardcore Torch OGs, those are the Voltron due diligence crew, and they're wrong. They just are. Lots of people who bought MMTLP and weren't OG Torch holders have registered their shares. Lots of people who were OG Torch holders tried to register and turned out they didn't have real shares. They seem to conflate what dividend means. So in the original S1 filing for the merger, combining metamaterial and Torchlight, the S1 said that the folks who own Torchlight, when it merges, will get one metamaterial for every 2 Torchlight they have, and 1 metamaterial preferred share for every Torchlight they have. The dividend is that preferred share, right? And only holders of Torchlight gets that dividend, which is the preferred share. That section, done. That entitles you to ownership of the oil and gas assets. Okay. We moved on. The way the Voltron people read it was only people who own Torchlight have access to the dividend when the oil and gas leases or assets are sold. Because a market formed for the preferred share, which became MMTLP, you can now buy and sell your rights to those assets as a result of that market opening. Therefore, it's not just the folks who had the OG shares, it's everyone who traded in that market now have rights to that. Now, those rights might be in name only because a whole bunch of naked shares got sold, which means whoever sold you those naked shares is now responsible for providing the dividend on those oil and gas leases. But yeah, they were just wrong, and they based a lot of their DD around that particular part of the legalese of the original S1, and they were just wrong. They were wrong then, they're wrong now, and they get angry when you point out that they were wrong. Really angry, like super duper crazy angry. And they did some good DD in the Voltron stuff. They're the ones who unearthed the connection between Concord Genuity and GTS and creating the market with FINRA and basically faking. That stuff was legit. But they just got wrong was what you're entitled to. If you bought the MMTLP shares, you are still entitled to NextBridge shares. That's what NextBridge says. So if they're saying something different than what NextBridge says, then they're just wrong. Wrong. So there. Luke Alexander. Houston. When's your guess of when things go crazy? Why? Want to get as many shares as possible before things go nuts. Ditto. I don't know when things are going to go crazy. I would have thought things would have gone crazy by the end of June, and the stuff kept getting extended. It's like, oh, maybe end of July. Now we're past the end of July. Things are still getting weird. Lots of filings going on. I'd be interested to see what the court has to say about 1728, saying, talking about the bondholders shorting the company at the same time. Be very interested to see what they have to say about that, because this seems to be something similar as to what was happening with the therapeutics company. Where the judge's like, yeah, gotta close your short positions before we can move on. Interesting. Middle of September? Roll some die. Sure. Pacific Northwest Texan. I refuse to pay my taxes. Are FTDs a valid example to use in court? Well, if I refuse to pay my taxes. Probably not, but you can try it. Don't try it. Chris Taylor, SDC has been on a bit of run lately. Any idea what's up there? SDC. Smile Direct Club. They're still $1. What's been happening over the last year? They've been as high as $2. $2.13 in August of last year. December they hit a low of 31 cents, and now they're almost up to $1 again in August. So maybe there's something that happens in August every year with Smile Direct Club. See, there's a pattern here. Well, 2021 they're up to $11, $12. Max. What's the max on this? It goes back 5 years. Okay, so 2019, $18 is when they IPO'd. It bottomed out at 3, got back up to 13 towards the end of COVID, or when the vaccine came out. So maybe everyone's like, here is April 2020. We're gonna be locked in. No one cares if your teeth are straight. Oh my God, the vaccines come out. Maybe everyone will care about their teeth being straight, and so low of 31 cents, back up to around $1. Yeah, so cool. Don't know what's going on with them. Here's why I should buy Smile Direct stock now from 1 day ago. Smile Direct Club. Shares are likely to gain in the coming quarters, backed by impressive strategic partnerships. The company's oral care products are now available at more than 12,500 retail stores nationwide, including Walmart, CVS, Walgreens. SDC's long-term target looks promising. Key transformative innovations hold the potential to drive growth. However, a tough competitive space and continued operating losses are concerning. Factors at play. Retail partnerships have been aimed at serving highly efficient lead source brand building opportunity. In the first quarter, the company introduced sales specialists and targeted partner network practice, better care customers, blah, blah, blah. So Smile Direct Club, if I remember correctly, they're like Invisalign, but like the cheapo Invisalign, the ones, you like bite into a thing of clay, send it off to them, and then they make a whole bunch of step down mouth guards that you put in, and you wear it for a couple of days, take that one out, put in the one that's a little bit tighter, and it eventually shifts your teeth around. I don't know what the cost basis is for a company like that. I've looked at it. Even though the cheap ones, they still seem expensive. Like, I got a little snaggletooth, got a little crowding. Wouldn't mind having that straightened out. I'm the only kid in my family who never got to have braces because my parents didn't love me. But I've also heard, like, their system isn't the best. It doesn't have, like, orthodontists doing it. And people, like, lose teeth. They, like, wiggle out of their heads because they step down too quickly and stuff. So I'd be curious to see if that had anything to do with stock prices. Downsides. Operating losses trend continues. Competitive landscape poses a challenge. So still expect to lose 42 cents a share. There's a lot of companies out there that just like to lose money per share, don't they? All right. Well, they're bullish, but still going to lose money. Chris Taylor, and I love that we have 2 afternoon shows in a row this week. Thanks, Houston. Welcome. All entity, that be trillion, dude. Trillion. I don't know. CJ Johnson, miss you on Twitter. Yeah, well, come over to Blue Sky if you guys get invites. If not, we will have a whole bunch of invites available for the end of the month for Charity Tuesday that we'll raffle off. Hopefully be like 8 to 10 of them. And if you have invites you'd like to donate so that we can raffle them off, by all means, I will take them gladly with an open giant hug, and we'll give them out to folks. Blue Sky is a very lovely platform. It's just not very many people on there yet. And they're very, very slowly stepping up. Not your friend. Aloha from Wahoo. I've been down with the flu since Tuesday. I was hoping it'd be the catalyst to squeeze. Guess not. Where's Sears? Well, it would have been very appropriate to have gone on strike then on Tuesday. You could have had your sick days and not have to worry about. So, but I guess your contract's all signed and you guys are good to go with UPS. Okay. Sears, in limbo with the court still. And Rollingbay Houston, can't believe I'm catching a live show after weeks of missing. I like today's shirt. Thank you. It's a batik. I like batik. Indonesians, you guys nailed it with that one. Lisa Sasa, would you rather be a toothless shark or a flightless bird? Flightless bird. Because if I'm a flightless bird, either means I'm a big ass bird, it can like kick with 2,000 pounds of force, or I'm a bird in an area where there's no predators, or I'm a penguin, which is just hilarious. Toothless shark, on the other hand, then you got to be like a baleen shark, and like you're just sucking down microplastics all day. So you're like some whale shark, just slurping on phytoplankton and just eating microplastics and replacing your insides with microplastics. So I'm gonna go with flightless bird. Walt the man in the middle, toothless shark. Others turned to vegetarians. So why not a shark? Copy and paste. Oil closed the week above $82 for the 6th consecutive weekly gain. The price is now up 30% from May. Momentum is building, and the oil price will likely exceed $100 soon. What's interesting is that, like, in 2008, oil broke $100 a barrel. Everyone lost their minds, right? And gas went over $4 a gallon for the first time. Now, oil can be at like $60 a barrel, and gas is $4 a gallon. Por qué? Right? Gas goes up, or oil goes up 30%. Gas goes to like $4.02. It doesn't make any sense. It's all just manipulation and speculation, and someone lying in there to line their pockets and make gigantic profits. Just nationalize the oil companies. Nationalize the American oil companies. We'll get gasoline like Saudi Arabia selling 16 cents a barrel or gallon or whatever. And our schools will be amazing. Sorry, Exxon, Chevron, BP, Texaco. You're now part of the U.S. government. Glowing newness. Stay safe. Take care, everyone. And here in the Pacific Northwest, stay hydrated. It's 70 degrees outside. It's pretty nice out there. 59. What are you talking about? The computer says 59. There's no way it's that low. What does my phone say? Phone says 77. Yeah. There we go. Computer's updated. It's a lovely day out there. Absolutely lovely. Monkey and I We went out there, ate our lunch, listened to the neighbors blow leaves, competing with their leaf blowers. One is electric blower, not very loud. The other one's a gas one. Holy crap. Those new neighbors are so loud. They're the loudest people I've ever lived next to. Like, their kids are constantly yelling. They're constantly yelling. Their dogs are constantly barking. They're blowing a leaf blower in the middle of summer when there's no leaves around. They let fireworks at random times. And they're just a loud group of people. And I don't understand people who are loud constantly. I just don't know how you exist. I don't know how you exist with 3 dogs who just never shut up. Like, she does not bark. He just lays there like a bump on a log. I don't get it. Do you get it, little kitty? No, you're a sweet little face. Yes, you do, little scratchy cat. He's just such a little sweetie. We have 2 other cats in this house. They're also quiet. Everyone's quiet here. Okay. Roommate downloading Baldur's Gate 3. I heard good things. Heard things about Baldur's Gate 3. He's going max headroom. Yes. Scott Lumley, Houston. Just a theory. I'm pretty sure those BBBYQ leases and stores are about to come back as Bye Bye Baby locations. Thoughts? I think a lot of them are. Well, Dream On Me is taking on a bunch of them, right? They're taking on a bunch of those leases because they're expanding. Now, there's a rumor that Ryan Cohen owns Dream On Me. I don't think they're a publicly traded company. I think they're a private company. Joey Sroor is the owner of Dream On Me. Yeah, they're not publicly traded. So who knows what could be going on with those guys. And they basically spent more money on Bye Bye Baby IP than the entire company makes in revenue. So it's very interesting to know how, where, why, how. And Bye Bye Baby's a better name than Dream On Me, I'll be honest. Dream On Me is I don't like that name. But there's rumors that Ryan Cohen owns Dream On Me, but I have no clue. He wouldn't have to disclose that necessarily if he took a sizable partnership or whatever. Because it's a private company, they can do whatever they want. So I'm very curious to see how that works out. Was it a leverage buyout to get the IP for Bye Bye Baby? I don't know. Copy and paste. Saudi Arabia asks its citizens to quickly leave Lebanon. Lebanon is spiraling, and they're spiraling largely because they have no access to hard currency, and their own currency is worthless. So they can't buy things like oil and gas and food and stuff like that. A year ago, when things were getting really bad, the people hardest hit were actually the rich people, because rich people had all their wealth tied up in hard currency, and those hard currency were in banks, and the banks cut off access to that money. So you'd see like at food banks and stuff would be like Porsche Cayennes and things waiting in line at the food bank because the rich people were the poorest people all of a sudden. Everyone else, like if they aren't living off the sea, they are struggling. Inflation is insane in Lebanon. I don't know what the solution is or how to get the banks to release hard currency funds back to the people. I don't know. Lebanon's probably going to spiral into civil war again if things don't get better. Okay. Reduced sugar daddy. Can you explain the situation in Niger and why the U.S. should not renege on its current position? So it was a military coup, took over, kicked the president out. Apparently holding the head of the treasury by gunpoint and saying, you show us where all this money went. Who knows if you can? But it was a democratic elected government, and it was being backed by U.S. diplomacy. And the U.S. diplomats are like, hey, man, let the people have their leader back. and the military people in charge are like, no. There's been rumors that the coup was backed by the Kremlin to kick out, U.S. diplomats. I don't know how much the Kremlin can actually afford to do hard diplomacy like this around the world. I don't know. I don't know enough about what's happening in Niger beyond what has happened and how the U.S. is like, hey, support democracy. And I don't actually know how democratic Niger was prior to that. Let's see here. Sounds like West African leaders are going to have African National Congress group go in there and do military intervention. That just popped up here a second ago. So West African leaders plan possible Niger intervention as deadline looms. West African defense chiefs have drawn a plan for military action if Niger's coup is not overturned by Sunday. The regional bloc said on Friday, after mediation failed in a crisis that threatens regional security and has drawn in global powers. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has given Niger's coup leaders until Sunday to step down and reinstate the elected president Mohamed Bazoum. The bloc has taken a hard stance on last week's takeover, the seventh coup in West and Central Africa since 2020. Given its uranium and oil riches and pivotal role in the war with Islamist rebels in the Sahel region, Niger has strategic significance for the United States, China, Europe, and Russia. Under the intervention plan, the decision of when and where to strike will be made by heads of state and will not be divulged to the coup plotters. That's probably a smart idea. Don't divulge to the people you're going to attack how you're going to attack. And ECOWAS commissioners for political affairs, peace, and security said, all the elements that will go into any eventual intervention have been worked out, including the resources needed and how, when, and where we are going to play the force. He said at the close of a 3-day meeting of Nigeria's capital of Abuja. Whatever option the 15-nation body chooses risks further conflict if one of the poorest nations in the world where groups linked to Islamic State and Al-Qaeda thrive in chaos. It's not clear how much support the bloc has neighboring Chad, which is not part of ECOWAS, but whose military leader, President Mohamed Idris Deby, played a role in mediation efforts this week, said it would not intervene militarily. We always advocate dialogue between Nigerians and whether we'll intervene by military means, Chad's defense minister, General Duad Yahya Brahim, told News National Television on Friday. ECOWAS has already imposed sanctions on Niger and sent a delegation to its capital on Thursday seeking an amicable resolution. A source in the entourage said that they were rebuffed and did not stay long. All right, so it sounds like we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned rumble in Niger. The Russian angle. Western donors have cut support in protest, even though Niger relies on aid for 40% of its budget. Regional countries have imposed economic sanctions that residents said were starting to bite. Bazoum said that the coup spelt chaos for his nation, with prices already soaring, and Islamists plus Russia's private mercenary group Wagner likely to exploit the situation. So Wagner Group guys are there. Oh boy. With an open invitation from the coup plotters and their regional allies, the entire Central Sahel region could fall to Russian influence via the Wagner Group, whose brutal terrorism has been on full display in Ukraine. Evgeny Prigozhin, head of the Wagner Group, which has forces in Mali and Central African Republic, last week said his forces were available to restore order in Niger. Some Nigerian supporters of the coup waved Russian flags, announced France and ECOWAS in a protest march on Thursday. Reporting by Borima Balima and Musa Al-Qassar, namely, that's just the people who do the reporting. Simple solutions. One, and this is the simplest one in the world, that will piss off the French. The French need to stop exploiting their former colonies. And by stop exploiting former colonies, what I mean is they force remittance payments, right? If you are a former French colony, you have to pay France for your right to not be controlled by France. This dates back all the way to Haiti, which for 300 years has been paying off a debt to France in order to be their own country. A huge portion of Haiti's GDP goes to France to pay them for the right to not be French. Same thing happens in Algeria, in Tunisia, and Niger, and Cameroon, and all these places that had French colonies still pay France to not be France. And so what the French need to do is go, yeah, we are done. You are not French. We don't need your money anymore. And half these countries will have like budgets they can use, right? So that needs to happen. Number 2, bing, bing, bunch of F-35s just wipe out Wagner Group entirely, so they don't exist anymore. Done. Solution number 2, done. Wagner Group's gone. They've been completely eviscerated by a bunch of F-35s, and that's that. Okay, 2 solutions, quick solutions. After that, let the cards fall where they may. But at this point, I think Wagner Group has proven that they should not exist. So I have no problem with hitting the delete button and making sure that no one who's a member of the Wagner Group exists anymore. So do that. So those are my 2 solutions for the region, and then we'll figure out where to go from there. All right. Bill Coin, the wires that your internet travels over is too thin. Use fatter wires. I would, if I controlled that sort of thing. Robert Carter, North Carolina rocks, where and what to look for. In North Carolina, you've got some important things. The only commercial emerald mine in the United States is in North Carolina. The largest sapphire ever found was found in North Carolina. It was not gem quality, but it was like this big. It was like 25 pounds or something. And the first gold rush in the United States was in North Carolina. So you got those 3 things going for you. Yeah, the gold rush in North Carolina started, there was a farmer, and his kid found this cool stone, and they used it as a door jamb for like a decade. Until someone came by and they're like, that's a cool looking door jamb. Where'd you get like that 30-pound gold nugget? And they're like, excuse me? Yeah, that rock, that big giant gold rock, that's gold. And that started the first gold rush in the US. And a whole bunch of miners came over from like Cornwall and stuff. And that's how the mining industry in the United States started. And then when they tapped out that region, they moved into the Appalachia in Georgia, which precipitated the Trail of Tears, because it kicked all the Cherokee out of their region, took all their gold, and then they forced them to go to Oklahoma. Andrew Jackson's piece of shit, whatever, that whole history. And the knowledge gained in that gold rush led to the California gold rush. But yeah, there's lots of cool stuff in North Carolina. Okay, let's do Mindat. Mindat.org, North Carolina. Boom. Bam. Okay. North Carolina, a big old state there. Most of the good stuff is going to be out here. You're still loading? Here we go. Okay. So we got beryllium. That's going to be your stuff related to emeralds. Corundum. Oh, that says chromium, not corundum. Actually, does it list the let's see here. Gemstones. There we go. Let's look at the gemstones. That's just commodity list, not North Carolina. Oh, that's the whole world. Okay. Ah, crap. Mindat. Come back. Ah, dang it. Mindat, North Carolina. That's what I want. There we go. Okay, mineral list. Here we go. Okay, good stuff. The good stuff. You can see there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Okay. Is it listed as corundum? Corundum. CHORCHI. No. How come I'm listening? I know for a fact the largest sapphire ever found. Those are sapphires then? Sapphire. Okay. So we got sapphire. We got emeralds. No, it'll probably be under barrels. That's probably what's under. Barrels, 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 barrels. What? Oh, there we go. Okay, it's separate. So we got emeralds. So barrels variety. Got aquamarine, emeralds, heliodor, morganite. Morganite's the pink ones. Named after J.P. Morgan, who funded the first mine to exploit those. Yeah. So we should have sapphires, gold, all sorts of stuff. If you want to find things in North Carolina, let's zoom in. Show me things. Why are you not showing me things? You should have all this stuff pop up. So pop up stuff. Where's that emerald mine? Emerald, barrels, 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 emerald. Show me in North Carolina. Mindat, you're acting weird today. Mindat.org, North Carolina emerald. Alexander Candy. Here we go. So this is north part of the state. So we're in north. Not too far. So Morgan, Heron, Black Spruce, Rexpine, Wilkesboro. We got lots of stuff to be found here. So Hiddenite is one of the rarest gemstones in the world. It's probably top 10 rarest gemstones. Pretty cool looking. I think I get some Hiddenite out in my Hiddenite images. Yeah, it's really cool greenstone. It's beautiful. Makes for some cool stuff. There are like lots of little cool things you can scratch out of it. But it's one of the rarest gemstones on Earth. So you can go look for that there. And it's found in Hiddenite, North Carolina. Named after the mineral. So lots of cool things to find there. Go to mindat.org and just search for shit. You'll find all sorts of things to find there. It's probably one of the most gem-rich states in the country. Wyoming's probably number 1. California maybe number 2. Then North Carolina. Probably in that order. Meow meow. My best friend was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. I'm in depression. Just stopping by to say meow. Oh, I'm sorry, buddy. That's not good at all. Many hearts out to you, meow meow meow. Stage 4, no joke. So, hope you're able to spend as much time as you can with them. So, spend that time. Don't take it for granted. Jose Rosario saw a Twitter post saying about BBYQ filing yesterday. So the shorts having to cover was from a different filing made by a retail trader. Very likely retail trader made that filing. If AST fills up with all the registering going on, what would happen to everyone's shares? Would that cause some kind of forced trading or lawsuits? I don't know. NextBridge just said like Fastly, we are not putting anything on the market. NextBridge is not going on the market. Nuco is not going on the market. The solution is not going to be going on the market. That being said, from their letters with FINRA, it did seem they're open to 2 trading days, forced closing of positions. So that could be negotiated, or there might be some sort of settlement price that gets negotiated. I think first things first, what they're trying to do is trap the shorts in an impossible situation where a whole bunch of people get their shares of Nuco as a dividend, and a whole bunch of people don't. And there's no way for the payment in lieu to get them those shares. So I don't know what their plan is after that. That part is shrouded in mystery. But my guess is it's to make the SEC go, okay, FINRA screwed up. We should probably negotiate some sort of settlement and figure out what the solution is to this is. Until then, Peachy Sunday, happy birthday. House Tank Cool Batik. That pattern is called parang, which means sword. If you look closely, it's 2 swords in 69 position. Traditionally, it was worn during war. You owe me 5 cents. Oh, okay. I get it. I get it. Little curly-Q swords. All right. I do. It's also got pockets down here. It's got belly pockets. Logic Dustbin, Houston. You should turn on gift membership. It benefits you as well as random watchers. How do I do that? I don't know how to do that. If I go to there, I go to memberships. I go to... How do I do that? Membership offers. Okay, there's that. Best practices. Okay, we did that part. Resources, link to share. I don't know how to do that. I really, honestly, truly do not know how to do a gift membership. How do I do that? Giving. No, that's philanthropy. Oh, that gives me a list of all the shows I've done. Oh, cool. All right, I didn't know I could see that. Wait, some of them aren't on here. Oh, there's that one. Okay. Oh, it's just for the last year. So it's not showing me all the other ones. That's neat. Okay. Anyway, back to memberships. How do I turn on gift giving? I don't know. I don't know. I'll have something for me to look at this weekend. But otherwise, I don't know. But thank you for telling me about it. I will see what I can do. Decatur Raw, happy birthday, Houston. Acme seems like it's a good move, huh? Speculation, please? Thanks. Cannot. Nice try, though. And Rolnick, Houston, did you see the story about the fans at Taylor Swift concert in Seattle registered a 2.3 magnitude earthquake at the stadium? Also, she gave her tour crew $55 million in bonuses. Yeah. So she's pulling down about $70 million to $200 million a show at these stadiums. So $50 million bonus, well worth it for her crew. Yeah, she beastquaked it. So how big was the earthquake that... There was an earthquake triggered in 2010, 2011 playoff game where beast mode, Marshawn Lynch ran for a crazy touchdown, missed 11 tackles to do it, and the stadium shook all of downtown Seattle. Beast quake magnitude. It was a 2.3. So she has now beast queened it. Beastquake was 2.3 magnitude, and the screaming fans at Taylor Swift were 2.3. So we know that arena is definitely capable of a 2.3 magnitude earthquake, and it can sustain such. Cool. KL, emergency. Please provide intel on the Tupperware situation. Legitimate shorts closing positions from the debt restructuring deal using dilution to pay for something else? I honestly have no idea. Because they're not a Q stock yet, but there is some sort of restructuring going on with the debt. And the price has been going just weirdo as a result. Come on. Yeah, it's at $4, $4.77. This is a climbing from where we're at the bottom here. 67 cents, 62 looks like it was the absolute bottom back 2 weeks ago. And now we're hit a peak of 538, dipped again, and now we're up there. So it's at their highs for the last year. Or close to their highs for last year. But they were a company that private equity was trying to strip and destroy. They private equity went in there and they're like, we're gonna take this thing for everything it's got and we're gonna strip it apart. And one of the problems Tupperware has is they are a multi-level marketing program, like the door-to-door salesman. That's for like the housewives. They have Tupperware parties. They invite people over. They sell their Tupperware. When there's cheaper options, people can buy at the grocery store anytime they want. Might be more disposable. Might not be as nice, but it's cheap, and they don't have to wait for a weird Tupperware party and have to talk to their weirdo neighbors who sell it. And so I think private equity saw this as a way of they can destroy this company for its assets, take on a huge amount of debt, pay themselves a whole bunch of money, and then just walk away. And now it looks like somebody wants to try and save the company, so they're going through restructuring. Beyond that, I don't know where it's going to lead. Not a clue. But keep your eye on it, I guess. I mean, it did have a high of $12 in August of last year. Has been as high as $36 in 2020. So 36.64 was December 2020. Bottomed out real hard during COVID when no one could go door to door. And then it was $38 in 2019. An all-time high of $94 in 2013. So, yeah. There's been interesting dips in there. Dip after the economy crashed. Big dip for COVID. Big dip now. With just a little bit of a rebound. You can see the graph up there, so you can't see. But, you know, economy crash. Everyone's selling their homes. And like their dip in 2009 is higher than any price in the last year. Huge spike in 2013 as, I don't know, people became housewives again. And then giant crash leading up to COVID, but it started before COVID, right? So 2018, it just fell off a cliff and kept falling off a cliff, and then bam, that's probably when private equity bought. And then there's probably resurgence because, oh my gosh, a vaccine's coming, we can do door-to-door sales again. And then, bing, we got drained of all of our equity. If I were to guess as to what that graph is pointing at. J-Dog, go Mariners. Go Mariners. Yesterday, they pulled Ohtani. Ohtani has pitched 4 scoreless innings, struck out like a bajillion people, hit a home run, and he got pulled after 4 innings because of tightness in his arm, and in an effort of a Mariners win. If I had to guess, Ohtani finishes out the season in Los Angeles because they missed the trade deadline, and he goes as free agent to the Mariners. That's what I think is going to happen. I think Ohtani went to Los Angeles thinking, oh, we've got Mike Trout. They're going to build a great team around me. We're going to win World Series. And then Los Angeles couldn't afford anyone else. So he's been spending his off seasons apparently in Seattle, training with Ichiro Suzuki, who's a roving instructor for the Mariners now, and sort of like the Mariners ambassador. And I think he's coming to Seattle. That's my crystal ball prediction. Ohtani is going to take a gigantic, like, $1 billion contract with Seattle, and then the Mariners will field one good year and then not be able to afford anything else. That's what I think is going to happen. The Mariners are smart. They would leverage that contract with partial ownership in the team. So they'd be like, okay, we give you $1 billion, but how about we give you a 49% ownership in the Mariners? Huh? And that's the way they should do it. But I have a feeling he's going to be a Mariner next year. RVing happens. How did Tupperware become a meme stock? Because they were being attacked by private equity, and that's how the meme stocks all form. Lukey 1210, love from London. What time is it there? It is an insane hour for you. It's like midnight. Go to bed. All right. Patrick's 421 Houston, I have a question. How big is a 10 kiloton explosion? Very big. So imagine a piece of dynamite, right? How big of an explosion does a piece of dynamite make? Now imagine 1 ton of dynamite. 10,000 times. That is a 10 kiloton explosion. Huge. It's enough to level a city. 10 to 20 kilotons is about what Fat Man and Little Boy were. They got dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And those are huge. Now, multiply that by 50,000 and you got yourself like Tsar bomb. And those bombs are just like, can't even imagine how big those things are and the craters they could leave. And theoretically, there's rumors that there are essentially like gigabombs, like gigaton explosions, stuff that could leave a crater the size of like Texas, should we want to ignite them, which would just rain down tektites all over the earth. Like we blast soil into space, they'll just become little bomb shrapnel that would cover the Earth's surface. I don't know why we'd want that. Ever. Maybe if we wanted to destroy small moons? I don't know. But 10 kilotons is a lot. At 10,000 tons of TNT is the equivalent. And which is why, like, literally the scientists, when they went to Trinity bomb site and were going to light off the first nuclear test explosion, they did not know what it was going to do. They knew it was going to be big. They knew it was going to be hot, but they didn't know the outcomes. They didn't know how the entire system of the planet would incorporate into an explosion like this. And they didn't know it was going to be 10 kilotons, smaller, larger, whatever. And they were literally afraid they were going to light the atmosphere of Earth on fire and end life as we know it. Can you imagine going into an experiment like that? Where you're like, hey, we invented this bomb. We know it's going to blow up. We don't know how much it's going to blow up. And we might kill all life on Earth in this experiment, but we're being told, push that button. And they went, They pushed it. It didn't kill all life on Earth. It did make for a gigantic explosion equivalent to the heat of the surface of the sun, and then some. But man, can you imagine? Like, I have to push that button. Just vaporize everything. Way to go, humanity. So I see in the corner here, Scott Paulin. This motherfucker's still alive. We've been partying for hours. Houston, you're a machine. I've only been here for not quite an hour and a half. So I got another 35 minutes left, 36 minutes. I am more than an hour behind in the chat, though. All right. Where's that 10 kiloton? There it is. Bitcoin tapped in a cramped position trapped in a cramped position deep underground would drive me insane. I would start screaming. Yeah, it's not for me. I mean, I'm okay with like stepping into a big giant open cave, but someone's like, hey, you see that thing the size of your head? Squeeze through that. I'd be like, no thanks. Not gonna do it. Does not appeal to me. BT, GME and AMC loading up to rip. One can hope. Ron Johnson, vacations will never take, spelunking. Last show, someone asked me some place in the world I would not visit. I would not visit tiny little cracks in the earth that you may or may not be able to fit through. Not for me. Not gonna do that. Billy, happy birthday. You haven't talked crypto in a while. What's your thoughts on XRP XLM? Again, I won't do any investing in crypto until US dollar tether coin is done. Until that's been obliterated, I'm not even paying attention to it. That's not true. I did pay attention because I saw that Shiba Doge went up like 9 million% for some reason and stayed there. Not as a glitch, it's like actually trading and going up and down. So a bunch of people apparently are cajillionaires from Shiba Doge, which is Shiba Inu Dogecoin having a baby. I don't know. But is the price still up there? Sheepadoge, where are you? Oh, did it go back up again? Looks like it went back down. I get 7 day. There it was. Okay. This is what happened. Not worth spit, not worth spit, not worth spit, not worth spit. All of a sudden, went up 9,000,000%. A whole bunch traded. Looking at hundreds of thousands of dollars, changing hands every minute. Spiked. How much had it gone up? I don't know. But it was a lot. And then right back down to nothing again. So I don't know who did what for the entire day on Wednesday. People were cajillionaires. One dude posted a picture that his portfolio was worth like $40 million all of a sudden. And everyone's like, sell. And he was like, I am. So congratulations to Glitchy McGlitchington. And however, I mean, that's not just a price accident. That is trading. Like there's volume happening here. Volume, and then just fell off a cliff again and is worth nothing. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. I was in the wrong shitcoin apparently. But XRP, XLM, I don't see those ones. Those are coins designed for transactions between banks, and I don't see them mooning because you want stability if you're doing trading between banks. You don't want to like send money over to a bank and all of a sudden that money sent over worth way more than you ever planned. So I don't see that stuff mooning. I don't think it's designed to do that because the banks just want stability. Just something nice and stable that they can use to trade back and forth because you want as stable a currency as possible if you're doing bank-to-bank transactions. Just reset. Go back. All right, there's spelunking. There is... Derek Colhorst. I'm from a town called Sweetwater, and we had a tourist underground cave lake called the Lost Sea, made of some unapproved visits at night. No crawling for me. I was there for some heavy petting. I mean, that seems to be as good a place to do some heavy petting as ever. No one's going to bother us here, baby. They're also not going to find us. What's it, bud? What? Are your kitten senses tingling? Oh, they are. She's freaking out. She's shaking. So Monkey's terrified of the new kitten. We have a tiny little Maine Coon kitten in the house named Calypso. And Monkey is absolutely terrified of it. And she's vibrating right now in fear. Monkey, it's okay. It's okay. I know you're sensing there's a kitten out there, but you're fine. You're absolutely fine. You need to freak out. She's such a scaredy cat. She'll go rip a coyote apart. But a kitten is this big. Ah! Chill out, man. T-Bolts. What is the yield on IEP now after the drop in price? It's still $1 per share, still the dividend. Even though they posted a loss this quarter, still $1 per share. Bill Coin, creepy story. Back in 2023, a large group of people bought ape stock hoping to become rich. 70 years later, they're still waiting. Quantum Shore, T-Bolts. Does it matter what the yield is when the distribution is based on cannibalizing its own revenue? Adding for more price drop spiral? Perhaps? The Rock, what's wrong, sir? Are you okay? I think I'm okay. Javier. Good day, Houston. Any idea why the market took a big dive today? I think will pick up because market makers are shady as fuck. In general, people are looking at the market saying, the United States got its credit rating downgraded. Housing sucks. So does commercial real estate. Bond yield's been inverted for over a year. All the signs point to a crash. Everyone knows one's coming. Might be just some selling happening right now while it's at a peak as folks like hedge their bets. Like, well, I'll sell now. Put into gold, into inverse related things. We've got members of Congress now buying lots of QQQ and other inverse ETFs. So looks like they're prepping themselves for something big. Trade like a senator, and you'll never lose a day in your life. Right, monkey? Why are you panicking? Monkey butt. Come here. Come on. 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 Yeah. You don't need to panic. You're shaking right now. You're absolutely vibrating. There's no need. Yeah, a kitten lives in this house. It's okay. It's allowed to live in this house. You're good. Yeah, you're doing the panic pants. You're a little panty panicker. Yeah, I know. It's so terrifying. It's so terrifying. Yeah. Oh, the worst thing in the world. Oh my goodness. A kitten lives here. Oh, you'd think somebody like lit off fireworks and started the vacuum cleaner or something. No, it's a kitten. It's a kitten. I know. You're just knee deep in pussy now, aren't you? 3 cats in the house. That's all right. Hide under the desk. You can do that. There you go. Hide under there. Yeah. Scaredy dog. Jay Geyser, DRS of Next Bridge, only 53. I mean, that's... You're going to be paying more to DRS than you paid for the stock. So that's up to you. 53 is not very many. Excuse me. I would talk to your broker and be like, it's only 53 shares. Can you guys just waive the fee? And maybe they will. So we're talking to them. Brian Collins, are you making any plays against commercial real estate yet? I have my eye on DRV. I have not, I gotta wait for one of these things to explode a little bit, and then I can jump into other plays. So I'm just sitting back and waiting. But I got an eye on DRV. Lee Campbell's 106 here right now. I hate it. Gross. Ew. Yes. Michael David Houston. I picked up 22 1-ounce silver coins today at a yard sale for $250. Awesome score. Have a great day. Dang. That's half price there, bud. Good job. To quote Tom Segura's bit, some people suck. I love Tom Segura. That guy, I just watched his new stand-up special. It's fantastic. He's hilarious. Meow meow. Do you rel D? Sure. Fabrizio, holy plops. He's live. I am Fabrizio. Plop 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 plop. Boss fight. Meow meow. That's horrible news. Got your back. Stay strong. Stay strong indeed. Meow meow. And seriously, spend as much time as you can with your buddy. That's what they'd want. That's what you probably want. So spend that time with them. Enjoy their company as much as you can. Belgian whale off to midnight lunch at the graveyard shift. Catch you later. See you, bud. Lots of love and support from Meow Meow there. Ted Bingham. Admit it, you miss your public off X. You've been streaming consistently since you left. Not complaining. I do. I wish Blue Sky would open up DMs on their platform. Right now, the only ways people can contact me are doing Instagram messages, which are annoying, Facebook messages, which are annoying, and Reddit DMs, which are annoying. They don't their notification system is really. Sometimes I don't know that I have an Instagram message for days. With Twitter, I was on there all the time anyway, that I just see the messages pop up and I can just read them. So it's really easy for me to get back to people quickly. Facebook has this little face pops up in the corner and it's in my way and I'm not ready to look at messages yet and it won't go away until I look at it. And I don't want to look at it right now. I'm reading something. And so then I swipe it down so it disappears, and then I forget there's a message there. I hate that about Facebook Messenger. Just don't have that stupid face pop up. I want Blue Sky to have DMs back so that I can communicate with everybody. But you know, they will eventually, and Twitter will eventually fail in a giant whimper, and everybody will be on a different platform at that point. But man, it is weird being on a social media platform where there's not very many people yet, and I only have like 26 followers or something, and not 7, 8, 9, 10,000. It's weird. It's weird. Dubiwa, autonomous pulled because his right hand is cramping. Yep, gotta keep that golden arm golden. Crispy chicken, meow meow. I hope your friend recovers and doesn't suffer too much open and fall depression for too long. Cancer sucks. Cancer does suck. There's a very promising drug that's going to human trials. I was just reading about yesterday that eats cancers. So there's a certain like growth hormone that causes cancers to grow and grow and grow and grow, and this shuts it off, and they just die. It's killed cancers in mice, and now they're trying it in human trials. What was the name of that thing? Iggy, if you're on, I think you sent the link of it to me. I can't remember, but it'll be buried in messages somewhere. But there are some very promising cancer drugs. So we just know that if these guys prove their cancer drug works great, that a bunch of private equity dudes are going to crush it. So hopefully they'll just release the patent to everybody, and we'll all be able to benefit. Crispy chicken. Oh, I already did that one. Ted Bingham. Ah, crap. That just... Where was I? Ted Bingham. Could LK99, if true, what would future stove, oven, and boiling water look like in a world with superconductors? How would this change our kitchens? Well, I don't think it would necessarily change what goes into like a regular induction burner, because you want resistance, right? You want resistance inside the metal, so the metal heats up and cooks your food. So I don't think superconductors will be used necessarily in that capacity, although I'm just a yawn master. I spent a lot of time in the sunshine today just sitting there. Although electronics that lead up to that induction burner, that might become superconductors. That way you'd lose less energy on the way to heating the element. But yeah, I'm sure if this thing pans out, like every wire you'll have in a piece of electronics decades from now will be made from superconductors, just so that batteries last forever, they don't overheat. Like, I was sitting out in the sun reading my messages, and my phone overheated, and it shut off all my apps because my phone was in the sunshine and it got too warm, thinking the processor is working too hard, so I'm shutting down your apps. No, it's just because I'm in the sunshine like an idiot enjoying the sun. So I had to go into the shade, take the phone out of the case, put it in the grass, let it cool off. But imagine like having it so your phone never overheats. Your electric car doesn't have to have a cooling system, right? The cooling system takes so much energy out of the batteries that's not being put into like forward thrust, because you got to make sure the lithium doesn't explode. And there's so much energy loss to that heat that gets produced in these batteries. So if you have batteries that store energy basically forever, right? There's no heat loss in the system, so there's no need to cool the system. You immediately have increased yields of those batteries by 100%. And then you have motors that are wound with superconductors and not copper, so there's no heat loss there. And now you have, like, you can use a fraction of the energy to power these batteries, and you probably just triple the distance you can get out of your system. And this is all the while not considering the fact that the storage capacity for the batteries would go up, because the space in which you can contain the batteries. You can now remove the cooling system and replace that with more batteries. So you can probably, without any of the chemical properties of the storage and stuff like that of the batteries, let's assume it's the same storage per kilogram. You probably just quadrupled or quintupled the distance your car can go just by replacing those components with superconductors. Pretty crazy. That's the benefit of solid state, is you 10x that stuff just by eliminating the heating and cooling systems, because the solid state batteries don't care. So you can probably 20, 30, 50, 40x whatever with batteries, solid state batteries that have used superconductors. It's gonna be pretty wild. Michael Harrow, Houston. Did the Mets trade Max Scherzer because their owner is a hedge fund that is losing money? My guess is probably yes. I mean, they were on the cusp. They're like, around a 500 team, and they're just dealing everybody away. They traded Max Scherzer. They traded Verlander, and like Texas and Houston are battling it out for tops in the AL West, and they just went meh with both of them. My guess is the Mets don't have the cash. Their GMs over the last 30 years have been some of the worst negotiators in baseball and do a lot of back-ended deals, which at the time sounds great. Like, hey, we don't have to pay this player $100 million now. We can pay them a little bit now. We'll just pay them a couple $1 million a year for infinity. And now they have a whole bunch. They have like $100 million that they're paying to players not to play baseball. That's not good business. Plus, 0.72 probably is eating shit on a regular basis because they're a massive short hedge fund. And there was rumors that Stephen Cohen was getting margin called last summer. And so my guess is that the Mets can't afford to be awesome. So they're going to be selling everything off while they can. No Revolution 105. It's probably like 3 people. I don't know what that means. Ted Brigham. Apple stock, 3 straight quarters of rotten apples and falling sales. Middle class is it buying high-end things? But rich are rocketing. Wait, all right. Apple stock, 3 straight quarters of rotten apples and falling sales. Middle class, is it buying high-end things? But rich are rocketing. Who actually declares a recession? Name what happens when said. Okay. I'm trying to figure out what I think you're saying. You're saying Apple's revenues are down because, well, they are. But they're counteracting that with stock buybacks to keep their stock price the same level so the profit earnings don't change. We know that's happening. Middle class people don't have discretionary income right now to buy fancy Apple products, so Apple sales are right. Rich are still rocketing because they're rich. Who declares a recession? The Federal Reserve generally does, but I think we'll kind of know it when it happens. Name what happens when that's said. Well, I think it's going to hit us like a ton of bricks all at once. They're going to say soft landing, soft landing, soft landing, and then something's going to change. There'll be a slew of properties that people can't get rid of, and they need to. And the banks are going to try and hold on and be like, hey, we'll renegotiate, we'll do all this stuff, because the banks don't want to take on those properties, have to sell them in a market when no one wants them. And that might last for about this long. And then the U.S. government's going to have to step in and do massive reverse repos with all these fixed rate bonds that aren't worth anything, and commercial real estate bonds aren't worth anything. And they're going to take all that from the banks, hold them, and give them these giant high interest returns on that, which is going to fuel the banks to go, oh, and then they'll have inflation, and then everything will come crashing down even more. So that's what I think is going to happen, because we're a mess. And we just can't like rip the Band-Aid, let things fall where they may, and start over with a system that makes sense where we aren't allowed to legal short sale, all sorts of stuff. So, meh. Ted Bingham, I love how you ask questions. Looking at an hour behind in chat is like talking to a satellite light years away. Yeah, I'm not too far behind now. I'm only 20 minutes behind. I caught up. I think a bunch of viewers were horrified by from me reading the cave story and they left. Ted Bingham, conspiracy theory. Ken Griffin helped collateralize Twitter buy for Elon in a bid to destroy media platforms for meme stocks. Are they buddy-buddy? How is Elon not margin called? Yeah. Last month, Fidelity reduced the value of Twitter from the original $44 billion Elon paid for it down to $6 billion, which means he's lost $38 billion in value on the company in just a few months. The revenues are now well below $1 billion a year from $5 billion a year for the company. And they owe 1.3 to 1.7 billion a year in interest on the loans he took out to buy the company. So they're losing cash like crazy. And they're starting to hemorrhage users. Some of the best shit posters, who are the ones that drive a lot of traffic, have left the platform and are now on other platforms doing their shit posting best. The blue checks was a terrible idea. And now X, Twitter, whatever you want to call them, is offering the ability for people to hide their blue checks. But the problem is that they'll still show up at the top of the chat and everyone knows that they're a blue check and they're just going to get blocked. The number of blocking that's happening is insane and it's driving up server costs for Elon. And it happened to me where all of a sudden the algorithm unblocks everybody for you, including your stalkers. So all of a sudden, my feed was full of a bunch of people I blocked and I had to reblock them all over again. Before they kicked me off. But yeah, I don't see how he's going to make money at this. He wants to make it this like banking services app and everything app like Weibo or Weibo, and people just aren't going to use it that way. They're not. No one wants to stand in line at their bank and be called like a beta cuck by a Nazi. And that's what Twitter has become. I mean, so on the thread that I got banned from for telling the Nazi to follow his leader, in it there was a guy whose name was like White Power 1488. If you don't know what the 1488 means, 14 words is this sentence talking about securing our future for our white children, and the 88 stands for Hail Hitler. And so this guy's name was like White Power 1488. And underneath his comment were not one, not two, but 3 advertisements for companies. Now, I don't know what type of company wants to advertise on a platform where their ads are showing up under an avowed neo-Nazi spouting a bunch of garbage. But that is where we have been led. And when you report the comments or the screen names, you're like, hey, Twitter mods, this guy has a bunch of Nazi references in his screen name, and his entire profile is about killing minorities. And what you get back for Twitter is, no, doesn't go against our terms of service. He's a good guy. But when you tell that Nazi to follow his leader, that's when you're the bad guy. Don't do that. Don't tell the Nazis to follow their leader. Which is what every good American should tell a Nazi. I mean, every good person on earth should tell a Nazi to do that. If you aren't telling Nazis to follow their leader, you're doing a very poor job. And then the Nazis thought they were clever, and their response was a picture of Hitler on a beach in like Argentina saying, follow your leader. And I was like, cool. If that means you're going to disappear into obscurity and no one's going to hear from you 20 years, and you're going to die and no one's going to care, I'm also for that. But anyway, I digress. Elon sucks. That's the moral of the story. Monkey Butt Destroyer World's terrified of one tiny kitten. She is. And she just like shook herself into a deep sleep. Ted Bingham, why does Fidelity charge some people transfer rates of $100 and some they don't? I think back January cost $50 versus at $500. What the hell's going on, MTLP? I don't know. The most expensive stuff I saw was out of Webull. Webull was charging people insane amounts of money. It seems completely arbitrary to me. Quantum Shore, Ted Bingham, more efficient to get power around, but probably wouldn't change much of the consumer appliances. Might be very interesting for PC and electric vehicle sectors, though. Very. Ted Bingham, you can pick one. A car you really want, a custom theater room, or a library at home, or a fancy boat. I'm going to go with car I really want. I already have the library. I don't need a custom theater room. I never really understood the custom theater rooms. I like sitting in a cozy living room and watch my shows. And my family already has a sailboat. My dad takes care of it, so I don't have to worry about a thing. The best kind of sailboat is the one you don't own. So I'm going to go with a car I want because I need that. Ted Bingham, Blue Sky has massive scalability problems. Sorry. It's true. They do. And they need to work on that. Julianne, problem is all the new cancer drugs that work so well are used most exclusively in high-end cancer centers that are completely out of reach of most people with no insurance or without Medicare or Medicaid. Another example as to why we need a national healthcare system. So, yeah. Iggy, the drug is code name AOH 1996. That's the one, Iggy. Thank you. Let's see if we can get the article. AOH 1996. The guy had been working on this drug since 1996. So, oops, I did AI. I want AO. AO. Yeah. So here, I'll post an article here, and you guys can pull it out of the chat. But they're doing human trials now. It's the first leg of human trials, and it basically just tells the tumor to stop growing, and they go, okay. Yeah, it's nuts, absolutely nuts. Check it out. Michael Harrow, do the room temp superconductors only work in Earth's atmosphere pressure? At the moment, yes. Well, I don't know about, pressure. I don't know about that. Temperature, yes. It shows that the form is stable to high temperatures, but it does increase resistance in the object to go to really high temperatures. So just don't use it in really high temperatures. Use it at room temperatures. So that seems to be the way to go. Deborah Mendez. Hi, my name is David Mendez. Tell me hi. Hi. Ted Bingham. So what does LK99 do for internet speeds, which seem to have been slowly inching forward in speed over 2 decades? Would fiber still be faster choice? I don't know if it'll make a difference in transferring information. Even fiber needs to have rebroadcast signals. You can only go so far, and then you have to take that weakening signal and reamplify it and broadcast it again. So you lose signal over distances. So I would assume you can make Ethernet cables out of the stuff that can be extremely long because the signal won't degrade. I mean, most of everything's probably moving to wireless anyway. So we're just gonna be bombarded by radio signals in all directions. Ted Bingham, how do T-bills and their rates affect the economy? Do they affect Fed rates somehow? What does credit downgrade connect to T-bills and Fed rates with how we run our daily lives? So we talk about a lot on the show. Treasury bills are the foundation upon which all assets are built. They're stable. You know the U.S. government's going to pay, because they do, until they almost don't. And so if you want to do lots of margin, high risk trades, you post those T-bills as collateral on those trades, and banks go, sweet, A1 America, I love it. And they'll gladly take it as collateral, and you can do whatever you want. Downgrading the credit rating of those T-bills means you might not be able to get 100% margin on the value of them, depending on who you're going to for money, which means they might not be the A1 thing to use as collateral. But oftentimes, banks only want treasury bills. They don't want volatile stocks. So even if you've got blue chips, your Amazons and IBMs and stuff, the banks would rather have treasury bills than that. Now, a downgrade in the credit rating means people may not want to buy treasury bills as much, which in order to entice people to buy those treasury bills, you're going to have to raise interest rates. And if you're raising interest rates, then the government is paying out more money in interest and less on everything else, which means they have to raise more money, which means they have to sell more treasury bills, which means they have to raise more interest rates, and it becomes a snake eating itself, a rubber cycle. On the flip side, if you have every institution on earth, every bank on earth, every pension fund on earth, every family fund on earth, every hedge fund on earth, every sovereign wealth fund on earth, all using U.S. Treasury bills as the foundational collateral for every play they make, and all of a sudden, the value of those things drop, right? And simultaneously, you can only use part of the value to make your plays, then the value of those treasury bonds drop because people can't use them for what they were using them before, which causes the value to go down even more. So now we're at a fraction of what we were with the value and desire for these treasury bills, which can cause the greater everything in the market to collapse. You can get margin calls. You can get the U.S. having to sweepingly offer higher and higher interest rates on treasury bonds to pay for the government, to pay for things, and it just becomes a giant mess. This is why you want to stabilize inflation. This is why you don't want to have a stupid every 2 years fight over funding the government. Just fund the stupid thing, you idiots, because it's going to spiral out of control and become a snowball. So that's basically the big problem with, well, everything. Here at Houston, we have a problem. We solve problems. Problem number one to solve, as far as this research goes, is when you pass a budget, the debt ceiling is just, there is no debt ceiling. Just do your thing. Who gives a shit? Right? We're going to make debt anyway because we're a bunch of idiots who won't tax our rich people. So either tax your rich people or complain about your debt. You can't do both. If you don't want to tax your rich people, don't complain about your debt. And you're like, we gotta cut spending. That's the dumbest thing you possibly do. Why? Because the price of everything is already going up, right? Like, there's inflation. Stuff just costs more. It costs more to pave a road. It costs more to build a school. It costs more to, maintain a satellite. Costs go up, and we need these services and access to these things regardless. You can't just magically say, I'll cut costs however we want, because the one area you're never going to cut costs is in your military budget, and that's where half of your budget's going. So you're going to cut all the products and services and everything else people use in order to fund $600 toilet seats? Because you're just not going to do it. So tax rich people, make sure there's no debt ceiling. That'll solve part of the problem with us losing credit ratings and interest rates being stupid. Okay. KL, you were making a death threat and were rightly banned from X. No, I wasn't making a death threat. I was telling them to follow their leader and do what their leader does. They love the man so much. They idolize him so much. By all means, do what he does. Follow your leader. It's not me threatening to do anything to them. It's them putting their money where their mouth is. That's what it is. Scott Pollen, I agree 100%. Mark Sloan, talking to a friend of mine who works for a Canadian bank, says they have been recognition. Recognition? I may have to have that defined for me. Because they don't want the houses. Oh, are they? So they're renegotiating. Is that what you're saying? Renegotiating? They're renegotiating terms because they don't want to get stuck with like 1 million houses in Canada they can't sell all of a sudden. I get it. Rogue 13, feel for monkey. A kitten can take down the biggest dogs. Sharp claws and teeth. Bit crazy at that age. Yeah. What's great? So, Mystery Michael sent Monkey a care package back in May, and in it was this like these pills that are for dog joints or for older dogs. And so, you take one of the pills, you throw it in their food twice a day, and they eat it. The cats absolutely seek and destroy these pills. They think they're the most delicious thing in the world. So if Monkey doesn't feel like eating her meal, she turns her back for a second, one of those 3 cats will get in there and eat her joint medicine. So these cats are going to be like as limber as possible for as long as possible because they're getting like 70-pound dog size quotas of joint medicine. So yeah, and Monkey, like, it doesn't that big of a thing of her. So they put something in, it's like cat crack. Oh crap, I gotta go. Thank you everybody for joining the show. I'll see you guys Monday, and we will. Might be a Twitch this weekend. We'll see. I need to do more. I need to do the Twitch like 3 or 4 days a week to make Twitch happy because they send me these like, you haven't done a show in a while. Do a show. Your viewers want to see a show. So, and no, when I do a Twitch show, right? You guys can come on there and ask all these questions you're asking. It's just what you're looking at is usually some random place on Earth on GeoGuessr. So you can ask all the questions you want to ask, and I'll answer the best I can. But I won't be like farting around the internet with it. I'll just be staring, trying to figure out where I am on Earth while answering those questions. So jump in there, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I gotta click this. It's got pockets.